Minister, what's the purpose or responsibility of any government worth their salt? It's to look after all their citizens, the elderly, the vulnerable, to ensure fairness and to ensure people get their rights and entitlements. But time after time, again and again, successive Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael governments have failed the people. The report from your Attorney-General, published on Tuesday, divides the citizens' concerns into two convenient groups: those in public nursing homes and those in private nursing homes. But it makes no reference at all to our most vulnerable citizens, those in long-term residential disability care settings. Many of those people depended on the government of the day to advocate on their behalf, not to deny them their rights. There are three groups of people with disabilities potentially entitled to payments, but only one got paid. Firstly, the people who never applied to the scheme because they were advised not to. Secondly, the people who did apply, but the deciding officer told them that they were not entitled to repayments under the scheme, and because of that, they didn't appeal that decision. And finally, there was the minority who did appeal and ultimately were the only ones to receive what was due to them. They were the ones who were fortunate enough to have an organisation that advocated on their behalf and remained persistent through to the end, despite barriers being put in place by government. But to not similarly compensate over 8,500 people with disabilities in similar long-term care settings, whose entitlements should have been similar but had nobody advocating on their behalf, and to have, on top of that, to have a government actively working to deny their entitlements, that has to be the lowest of the low for any government. And it's clear to me that despite government protestations and denials, that thousands of patients were unfairly charged for their care. It is clear to me that despite government protestations and denials, that government after government, minister after minister, were happy to keep the public in the dark on this scandal. And it's very clear to me that despite government protestations and denials, that government had tried its utmost to deny those thousands of patients redress. So now that your policy has been exposed, what steps have the government taken to identify those 8,500, those thousands of people who had money taken from them illegally? And if you have started a trawl at this stage, so there's no confirmation of anything from the statements, if you have started a trawl, it's only because you've been exposed. So the question is now, Minister, now that you've been found out, are you going to continue your policy of protestation and denials? If a person were to take a case today on the same basis as the case is settled, would your government defend or settle that case? That's the question. Another scandal that we talk about, a couple of times I heard ministers refer to this as historical. Well, there's an ongoing scandal that happens day in, day out, yesterday, today and tomorrow, and that's the scandal of charging patients in nursing homes who have medical cards for products that they're entitled to free of charge under their medical cards. They're charged for incontinence wear, they're charged for ointments, they're charged for wound dressings, they're charged for OT, speech therapy, all of the entitlements that they would have free of charge if they were living in the community. And numerous times I've raised this at the Public Accounts Committee with the HSE and with the Department of Health, numerous times, and the HSE couldn't give a damn about it. There was an FOI that I received, and in it, the Assistant National Director for Primary Care Reimbursement Service had said, and this was in an FOI that was an internal one within the HSE, it said that the primary place where an intervention could be put in to ensure that nursing home clients are not charged for items that will be covered under the medical card scheme would be via inserting a clause in the document between the HSE and nursing homes that actually states the requirement not to charge. Now, despite the fact that that statement is 2 years old, and despite the fact that it was raised with the Sec-Gen of the department, the HSE last week, they've still done nothing. Now, Minister, if you want to stop further scandals, this is happening today. Patients are being ripped off in nursing homes that have their medical card and are not getting their full entitlements. Will you put a stop to that? Because the HSE couldn't give a damn.